So hello guys, it's me Priyank and I'm back with another exciting video, and in this video we'll be learning about Python. So what we'll do is we'll just create a new file with the name clc.py, and you need to make sure that the extension of the file is .py, that is the file will end with py extension. And I'm really happy to announce that we have crossed around 2.2 million viewers on our channel. So this will be the last video of the course. So in this video we'll start by adding in the print function or the print statement, and we'll first ask the user to select out of 4 options. So I'll just add in 4 print statements which will show the options to the user, and we'll learn about input function which will allow the user to add in an input. So you can either, there are 2 ways you can actually ask the user for the input, or next thing you can do is you can directly add in the statement in the input function. So what I'll do is I'll just use this thing and let's test this out and let's see how it works out. So what you can do is you can use input and then you can add in the statement that you want to ask to the user. And of course semicolons are not important in Python, but still I would suggest you to use them because there are languages like C# and Java wherein semicolons are important and you should be learning them. So next thing we'll do is we'll just create a variable which will add the data, will add the input text inside this variable. And now what I'll do is I'll just create some if-else statements. So you can either give the condition depending on the user's input, or next thing you can do is you can actually use a loop. So in my case I will use the first method, that is working out with the inputs that the user has provided. And yes, we need 2 else if statement and 1 else statement because there are 4 inputs from the user, 4 conditions from the user. So I just add in 4 of these conditions and we'll add the code later on. For now let's just create 4 things, 4 options for the user. So that's done. Now what we'll do is we'll just try to run this and let's see if this works out well, and if we have any errors we'll just check for some errors. So first of all you need to add some code in the if-else statement. So I'll just add a print statement and we'll just test the code by adding the same input that user has provided. So we'll just print the same thing, that the same input that user has provided. So let's run the code, and what I'll do is I'll just head over to run module and run the code in Eclipse. So I guess that's the last statement and it's done. So I'll head over to the run module, I'll run the code, and we have a small error. So Python run, we have a syntax error, so my bad, I've added this in. So as you can see, indentation is quite important for Python, so we'll just make few changes over here, and this is to inform you that spaces and tabs are important wherever they are required. And the code is working, so let's run it again. As you can see, I'll enter 1 and the user has selected 1. We have the print statement working. So the switches are working. What we'll do is we'll just add in our code. So usually what I do is I create different functions for different stuff. So what I'll do is I'll just create a new function using the syntax def, and you have 2 options. Either you can add the result in a variable or you can print it directly, and usually I tend to print the thing directly because that's an easy way. So we'll just create 4 functions, as we have 4 choices and user can select one of them depending on the input. So I'll just add in 4 functions, and the code inside the functions will be different. So the code is quite simple. I hope you can understand what I'm trying to convey. And in case you have any problems, you can surely ask in the Q&A section. By the way, the source code will be available in the resources. Now what we have to do is we have to redirect the user from the if statement to the function. So the method is quite simple. You just have to add in the name of the function. So for example, over here I'll just add the name of the function, and we have to pass 2 variables. So I'll just pass in 2 variables, and one more important thing, we actually need to put in some values inside the variable. So what I'll do is I'll create 2 input statements which will ask for an input from the user. So you can just type in the same code 4 times, or you can create the variable before the statement. So that depends on you. For now I'll just copy paste the same code here, here and here, and I guess that's all. We have to make some changes and the code is ready. So I'll just make few changes. One more thing I would like to tell you guys is to use to declare the functions before using them. So that's something you should remember. And then we'll create a big function like a main function, which will add in all the codes together to keep everything intact. And now we'll add in the name of the main function, because after execution the user should again return to the same code. So what we'll do is we'll just copy paste this thing over here, here and here. So I guess the code is ready and ready to be executed. So what I'll do is I'll just quickly go to Python run and execute the code. You have two methods. You can actually add in, you can create a class, or what you can do is you can just redirect the user or just use the function that we have created previously. So in case you are creating a class, you can use class name dot function name, or what you can do is you can actually change this thing to main and it will be executed. Next method is to actually use this thing. So functions are actually quite easy to use. You can use the name and you can print stuff. And I have explained functions in my previous video, so in case you have any doubts you can always ask in Q&A section. And as you can see, the code is working fine, so I have to make some changes over here as well. So I guess that's all for this video, and happy learning.